Ngonga defends terrorism charges against protesters, assures the country there is no political interference. Border riders reject the public transport motorcycle regulation bill, say it will cripple the sector. All right, our sign language interpreter tonight is Laura Omondi. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. We begin with the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Renson Ngonga, who has come out to deny claims that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is being controlled by the government. Addressing the media on Thursday, Ngonga denied any influence from the executive as he maintained the ODPP remained an independent body. According to the director, prosecution targets individuals purely based on evidence which has been relayed against them. His response came amid a wave of criticism aimed towards the ODPP, with sections of activists accusing the body of falsely charging protesters with terrorism.
Terrorism is not only when you bomb using bombs, but if you make acts that are endangering human life, government installations, that is an act of terrorism. So we must understand where we are coming from. That is why we are able to charge people under that act. It is not that there is anything. And we must understand that when we charge people, they must not always have guns or bombs for us to charge under that act. This is a law that was passed in 2014 by our legislature. And it is a law that is there. And it doesn't mean when a law has not been applied for some time, when you apply it, then it's not the law. That is the law. Yeah? You had, just the way I said, and if you saw the statement by the CJ yesterday, yeah, she talked about the banning of Kikuyu law courts, meaning that any act that is against government installations is an act of terrorism.
The Treasury now states that the government is unable to fully fund education in the country as a cash crisis in the education sector deepens, with schools receiving less capitation than was disbursed last year. The Parliamentary Education Committee raised questions as to why the 22,000 shillings budgeted for capitation in secondary schools was not reaching schools, but instead only 16,900 shillings per student. Members of Parliament also raised questions about the disbursement of money to ghost schools.
Learners are provided with tuition and operations cost at the rate of Kenya shillings 1,420 for primary education. For junior school, it is 15,042 per child, and per capita for senior secondary school is 22,244. However, due to constrained fiscal space and other emerging priorities within the education sector, updating these rates might be untenable. The government will, however, consider reviewing these rates should revenue performance improve. Again, Madam Chair, we are getting more and more children in our schools, and the revenue performance is not increasing at a faster pace. And so sometimes the rates may look low, but again, we have to operate within the fiscal framework.
This particular figure for the last 4 or 5 years has never been attained in the budgeting of the money that comes to the ministry. And that is because the numbers of students have been going up, but the figure has remained static. Administratively, the ministry has taken steps to ensure timely disbursement of capitation, again, as my colleague said, at the ratio of 50, 30, and 20. First term 50, second term 30, and third term 20%.
The Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says his ministry is already implementing a 10% salary increment in phases in line with the budgetary adjustment for the financial year 2025-2026 and the police task force recommendations. Speaking while presiding over the Jukwaa la Usalama Security Assessment Baraza in Nandi County, Murkomen urged members of the National Police Service to be patient as the Ministry of Interior delivers the second phase of the salary increment amid reported disquiet from the service member administration. The Interior CS stated that banditry remains the top security issue in the North Rift region.
Last year, 10% increment was done on the police officers that are in the lower cadre. This year, another 10% will be done. We've just crossed the new financial year, and the exchequer releases are going on, so I don't think there is an issue. It will be implemented, and the entire promise that was made to our police officers will be implemented. And should there be an issue that requires the numbers to be shared and so forth, the National Police Service Commission can do so, or the Inspector General Police can do so. We are ready to make sure that we remember that the implementation was staggered. It was not one-off. It was one-off, we would have finished like 2 years ago. So this financial year, the promised 10% increase will be done, and then until the ultimate promise that was made in the task force report will be implemented. So there should be no. If that was an issue set, we have been with you in many of the fora, it would have been raised by the OCSs in the meetings because they understand the progress that we are making. And you know that Jukwaa la Usalama is a very open forum, that it has given the officers at the lower cadre to ask any question, and we've been able to answer any question. So the stakeholders understand where we are going.
Border operators have strongly opposed the proposed law aimed at regulating the motorcycle transport sector, warning that if passed, it will devastate livelihoods and disrupt one of Kenya's most crucial economic engines. Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on Thursday, the Border Safety Association of Kenya dismissed the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill as punitive, exploitative, and detached from the realities of thousands of riders who hustle daily to survive. The bill, sponsored by Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale, proposes sweeping changes in the sector, including the formation of 47 county motorcycle safety boards, mandatory SACCO membership for all riders, and a requirement that motorcycles must be fitted with GPS trackers.
A tracker right now costs almost 10,000. So if a border rider currently is supposed to pay 400 shillings to the people that they lend them bike and they are unable, where will they find this money to buy these trackers?
We oppose the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill number 38 of 2023.
During the demonstrations that were happening across the country, the border sector did not get involved. But with this, they are ready to go on the road. And it will be worse than anything else.
Criminals use borders because of the easy escape.
How would the rider know? They are not dangerous that the person you are carrying, where you drop him, is going to commit a felony or anything else.
And this bill is not meant to make life difficult for anyone or for the sector. It is meant to streamline the sector.
To the corridors of court, Police Constable Jackson Kipkoech Konga has been sentenced to 30 years in prison by the Nakuru High Court for the murder of his superior, Sergeant Christopher Kimeli. The incident occurred on August 8, 2023 at the K9 unit in Nakuru East Sub-County following a heated altercation between the two officers. Konga said the struggle over the gun caused the nozzle to point towards Kimeli's chest. He told the court that the fatal shot was fired when Kimeli himself allegedly pulled the trigger during the scuffle. The incident reportedly took place about 50 meters from the station's main gate. In his judgment, however, Justice Julius Nangea stated that witnesses, fellow officers who were present, confirmed that the altercation had angered Konga, who then cocked his firearm and walked out of the report office. The court had that Kimeli followed him, and it was at this point that Konga turned and shot Kimeli.
The offense was committed in very serious circumstances. A gun was used to shoot the deceased at close range, as confirmed by the post-mortem report. And when the court gave its judgment earlier, it noted that there was evidence that it was provoked by insults, repeated insults by the deceased, as confirmed by his colleagues, police officers who were present. But as the court noted in the judgment, that was not justification for the killing, regardless of any insults from his boss. The deceased was his boss. That was no justification for the killing. Having considered all the relevant factors, I agree with the prosecution that a custodial sentence is appropriate for deterrence purposes. The court was told that he's not remorseful because he continues to plead innocent even after he was convicted by the court. And so, having reviewed all the relevant factors and circumstances, the court sentences him to 30 years imprisonment. He has 14 days to appeal the conviction and sentence as he will be advised by his counsel.
So kama wakili wa familia nimeona haki for my clients na ninashukuru sana. Kwa hii ni kesi ambayo imefanyika chini ya miaka 2. It's a murder case imefanyika chini ya miaka 2. So we also appreciate the effort that the judiciary wameweka kwa hii kesi.
I want to say thank you for our judge and our family lawyer for the justice that we've got. Konga did a bad thing to our family, leaving us like don't having a dad again, not calling anyone a dad.
Hii ni kesi ambayo wakati ilipotokea kulikuwa na dhana mingi sana kule nje kuwa ni nini chanzo cha maafa ya Sergeant Christopher Kimeli kule mtandaoni. Na kwa leo tumekuja kwa sentencing na koti imetoa sentence ya miaka 30.
Sisi pia kama wanakijiji na raia wa Lembuskwenu tunafurahi sana kwa haki ambaye familia imepewa. Kufungwa kwa miaka 30 kwa Corporal Konga baada ya kumua Sergeant Kimeli tunaona ni haki.
Medical services in Kiambu County grinned to a complete halt on Thursday as doctors led by their union announced a major shutdown and protest march in a standoff now entering its 60th day. In a strongly worded statement on Wednesday evening, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Davji Atela, declared that healthcare workers will assemble at the Kiambu Level 5 hospital before marching to the county assembly and then the governor's office. The protest, Dr. Taylor said, is not merely about wages and working conditions, but a fight to restore life, dignity and justice to a county whose health system, he says, is on its knees.
The doctors are on strike because there are no drugs in the hospitals. The doctors are on strike because the money for promoting them has been eaten. The doctors are on strike because there is shortage. So today is the 6th of the strike, and we must be ready to continue striking until they honor what we agreed. Comrades, power!
Na tuko hapa leo kwa sababu Kiambu kuna shida na ni shida kubwa. Kwa sababu kama raia wa Kiambu siku 60 wamekuwa bila madaktari na hawajui. Hiyo habari imefichwa, tukijaribu kuifichua kaunti wanaficha. Sasa tunataka watu wote wajue, tunataka MCAs wajue kwa sababu ndio tulichagua waakilisha watu. Ndio waweze kukaa na governor, waweze kumwambia atatue matatizo ya Rioko. Matatizo ya Rioko baana hao ni kuwa 2020 Kiambu waongezee madaktari. Ikaamua daktari wote wawekwe kwa zile kazi ambazo zinahitajika. Nasema wasikuwe kuchukua wengine wako kwa contract, wengine wako kwa permanent, wakasema wote wakuwe kwa permanent. Wakasema kaunti zote walipe mishahara yao wakati unaofaa.
Tumekuwa mgomo kwa siku 60 sasa. Na tumeona kaunti haijawajibika kuhakikisha kuwa madaktari wamekuwa promoted, haijawajibika kuweka madawa hospitalini na pia kuhakikisha madaktari wengine hospitalini. Kwa hivyo tumeonelea kuwa ni lazima tuandamane ili wafanyikazi wa Kiambu wajue kuwa wakazi wa Kiambu wajue kuwa ni gavana wao na management wa county ndio katika mgomo.
The United Democratic Alliance, UDA, is likely to tap Prime Cabinet Secretary and the former ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi to spearhead its campaign in the upcoming Malava constituency by-election. A respected statesman and a steadfast ally of President William Ruto, Mudavadi is expected to rally support across Malava, one of Western Kenya's politically active constituencies, with a message grounded in unity, continuity, and service to the people. Speaking in a consultative meeting with over 100 clan chairpersons and elders drawn from the 29 Kabras clans, the dominant sub-tribe in Malava, Mudavadi reaffirmed his commitment to ensuring that UDA fields a candidate who embodies the values and aspirations of the people. He also announced plans to convene broader stakeholder engagements, including the youth, women, scholars, farmers, business leaders, and religious groups, affirming his belief that inclusive dialogue is key to building a shared vision for Malava's future.
Let us put our minds together. And Dwamaro Mihano, I've not told you about any candidate. And I'm not going to tell you about a candidate, not today. Because I want you to go home and ignite this debate at the grassroots, in the villages. What leadership do we deserve? Kabisa. Muzimu, what leadership are we looking for? My only request is that after you configured those things, please, awe candidate wa UDA.
Akaona kwamba hii 2022 lazima apange na achore ili watu wa nyumba ya Mlembe wakuwe ndani ya serikali. Tukapiga darubini yote na watu tukatengeneza ile kitu inaitwa earthquake. Lakini la ajabu, watu wetu wanapata uzito sana kuelewa neno lake na kuangazia mahali anaelekea.
Lastly, there are projects being undertaken by the county government, such as the Malava Dairy Project, which has stalled and are progressing very slowly. We respectfully request your office to initiate collaboration between the national and county governments to help fast-track these vital projects. In conclusion, Your Excellency, thank you once again for giving us this time to speak with you. We come in peace, unity, and humility. We live encouraged.
All right, at that point, allow us to take a quick breather right here on EBN Prime Edition. We'll be back shortly with more news making headlines. Do not touch that dial. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. ODM chairman from Laikipia County, Dickson Manyara, led a delegation of ODM members in defending the ODM Secretary General Edwin SIFUNA, who has come under fire being accused of going rogue. SIFUNA has turned up the heat on the Kenya Kwanza government despite being in a broad-based working arrangement with the ODM party. The youths now say SIFUNA's sentiment is a representation of the general views from Kenyans who have unpopularized President William Ruto's government.
Sisi wa Kenya ambao ndio wengi tumesimama na SIFUNA imara na tunataka kutangaza tukiwa ndani ya chama, tukiwa viongozi wa chama na kutoka mashinani, ya kwamba msimamo wa SIFUNA ni msimamo wa mwananchi wa Kenya, ya kwamba lazima mwananchi apewe haki, lazima mwananchi apewe yale mambo anahitaji, na lazima chama chenyewe cha ODM kisimame na ile usimamo wake wa zamani wa kutetea mwananchi wa kawaida.
Kama vijana wote wa nchini Kenya tunaunga 100% Bwana SIFUNA, na ninataka niambie chama cha ODM hivi: iwapo watadhubutu kumtimua SIFUNA kama katibu mkuu wa hicho chama, tunataka tuambie hao wanachama wa ODM ya kwamba mahali SIFUNA atatuambia kama vijana, hapo ndipo tutaenda, and we are carrying him in our hearts.
Wale ambao katika hicho chama cha ODM wanapiga Sifuna, ninawanyoshea kidole cha lawama ya kwamba hamjielewi na hamjijui, ya kwamba hamjui kijana ndiye kiongozi wetu wa leo, si kesho. Kwa hivyo nyinyi tafadhali ninawaomba wacheni hiyo maneno ambayo mnaleta katika chama cha ODM.
Anatumia akili zake ambaye huwezi panga yeye kulingana na maoni yake. Kwa hivyo naona vyenye anaongea na vyenye kiongozi wa ODM anaongea ni watu wanaona kama iko tofauti, lakini fikira zao ni sawa.
St. Mary's Kibabii Boys in Kanduyi constituency, Bungoma County, has been upgraded to a national school in the country through the new competency-based education system. Religious and political leaders are calling on the school's management to improve their results to match the status they have been given. Kibabii has been on the front line in recent days, recording the best results in sports and also in the national exams. This step has been well received by teachers, the school principal Onesmus Ogeto, the parents and the students who promise to fulfill the vision and dream of the school. Kibabii will now join Moi Girls Kamusinga, Lugulu and Friends School Kamusinga to complete the list of national schools in Bungoma County.
Shule sasa mnaitwa C1, Cluster 1. Yani hiyo ndio national school. Sasa hapa mkiandika hapo chini hapo nje mtabadilisha. Itaandikwaje? St. Mary's Kibabii Boys. Yes, very sad. Thank you, congratulations. So now, after that, after C1 unaenda wapi? That's also the final. Yeah, no, look.
We were receiving blessings from our Lord Bishop, Right Reverend Mark Kadima, and these blessings we are to raise our school after it was elevated to C1 category of national school. So basically that is why we celebrated the day.
To up our game in every area, that is in academics, in even issues of addressing school fees, issues of addressing discipline, issues of addressing so many areas, so that we become the level of that C1, that is cluster 1. We also want to tell our parents that they've got to at least chip in a bit in order to ensure that our school moves to that level because of infrastructure and the rest of the things.
Ni mwanafunzi tena ni kutoka katika klabu ya journalism club, na nafurahi sana manake nikitoka hapa najua kwamba nitakuwa mwanahabari, na ni mwanahabari kutoka shule ya kitaifa. Na kingine ningependa labda nieleze nchi au niwaeleze wa Kenya ni kwamba njooni muone shule hii tukufu, na pia serikali pia iweze kuzuru eneo hili waone ni wanafunzi wapi ambao Kibabii imeweza kukuza.
Kama mwanafunzi wa Kibabii National School, tunashukuru kwanza sana Maulana kwa sababu katika hii wakati wote tumetamani sana kukutana na shule za yenye ziko nationals. So far kama wanafunzi wa Kibabii tumefurahi kwa sababu sisi wenyewe saizi tumekuwa national school.
The Kenya National Union of Teachers, Mombasa County, has lauded the salary increase for teachers in the country as a major relief for them. The union's Mombasa County Chairman Ahmed Kombo Ahmed has said teachers are struggling due to low pay and poor working conditions. Speaking in Changamwe, Mombasa County, Kombo is also the Nat Kilindini branch chairman, also commended the promotion of some teachers following the reform and the new curriculum in the country, the competency-based education. At the same time, the education sector in the country points out that new arrangements for paying retired teachers is an important issue that teachers have been fighting for a long time now. Last week, the Teachers Service Commission announced an agreement with the teachers' unions, including Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, on contracts for the years 2025 to 2029, where within the amount of 33 billion shillings allocated by the government, teachers will receive new salaries of between 29,000 and 167,000 shillings, which is the highest level for head teachers and school principals.
Napenda kutoa shukrani kwa Teacher Service Commission ambaye ndio mwajiri wa walimu pamoja na serikali kuu kwa kuweza kuwakumbuka walimu kwa kuwapa nyongeza ya mshahara. Kwa hakika hii ni nyongeza ambao kila mwalimu atafurahia, kila mwalimu ataridhika. Tunaomba serikali yetu ihakikishe kuwa mkataba huu ulioingia na chama chetu cha walimu NAT uweze kutekelezwa kama ilivyokubalika. Vile vile tunashukuru kwa zile sehemu ambazo ilikuwa ni za shida pia hazikuweza kutolewa, zimebakishwa vile vile, si kama vile ilivyokuwa imetajwa kuwa sehemu hizi zitakuwa hazihitajiki. Kwa hivyo serikali na Teacher Service Commission kongole kwa jambo hilo. Pia tunafurahi kuwa mwalimu sasa atakuwa akilipwa hata kama umefanya kazi kwa mwaka mmoja kisha bahati mbaya pengine upoteze kazi ile, si kama ilivyokuwa unaweza kufanya kazi kwa miaka 54 lakini ukipatikana kosa miaka yote inapotea. Kwa hivyo Teacher Service Commission, NAT, tunashukuru pia chama chetu cha NAT ambacho kimeweza kwenda mbio, viongozi wetu wa ngazi za juu kuhakikisha jambo hili limetiliwa maanani, na kuanzia sasa mwalimu utalipwa kulingana na miaka uliofanya kazi hata kama umepatikana na shida yoyote. Tunasema pia swala la matibabu, swala hili kwa hakika bado linasumbua walimu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba lilainishwe ili kila mwalimu afanye kazi kwa bidii. Akienda katika hospitali aweze kutibiwa kwa haraka na aweze kurudi kazini bila shida yoyote. Lao mtoto wake, mkewe, mumewe ameenda katika matibabu, hata kama mwalimu huyo hayuko, lakini hawa waweze kutibiwa kwa haraka, kwa sababu ikiwa atakuwa hawajatibiwa na yeye yuko kazini hata kuwa na utulivu. Kwa hivyo hii habari ya kungoja masaa 3, masaa 8, tuomba hili jambo liangaliwe, liangaziwe ili jambo hili lisiweze kusumbua walimu. Vile vile tumefurahi kuwa kuna interviews zilifanywa na walimu wakapata grade, lakini swala la kutupa walimu mbalimbali hilo kidogo linatatiza. Mwalimu amepata grade, anatakana kuwa naibu wa mwalimu mkuu, anatakana kuwa mwalimu mkuu, lakini anatolewa hapa Mombasa mpaka Tana River. Kweli pengine kwa sababu ya nafasi hakuna hapa Mombasa, lakini kwa nini mwalimu asipewe grade yake tu?
President William Ruto on Thursday launched the 2025 Great Wildebeest Migration Global Live coverage at the Masai Mara in partnership with China Media Group Africa as part of efforts to showcase Kenya's tourism offerings to the world. The president said the broadcast of the annual spectacle, often referred to as the 8th wonder of the world, was part of a broader campaign to boost international tourist arrivals with a target of 5 million visitors by 2027. Ruto noted that the Masai Mara, which receives more than 400,000 visitors annually, is the crown jewel of Kenya's tourism and a global symbol of conservation success, adding that the migration offers a rare life and death spectacle as wildebeests across the crocodile-infested Mara River.
To our partners in the media, thank you so much for airing the vast story of Kenya to such a global audience. And this is not just a natural phenomenon, it's just a demonstration of how magical Kenya is and how proud we are as the people of Kenya.
We are expanding our tourism product to go beyond wildlife, to go beyond our national parks, to go beyond our beaches, to the wide array of what Kenya is good at, wide array of what Kenya has to offer, from our deep culture to our great innovations, and to welcome everybody from wherever they come, from America, from Europe, from Australia, from Asia, from China. We will welcome them with open arms and tell them, welcome home, because this is where we all began. Our tourism numbers are going up. As I said, by 15% last year. We moved our numbers from 2 million visitors to 2.4 million visitors. Our targets are 5 million in the medium term, and we believe that is achievable because we are also expanding our other facilities that we are going to use for conference tourism, for sports tourism. As you have seen, we have huge investments in stadia and in sports infrastructure around Kenya, so that the people who want to come for sports tourism to engage with our world-class sportsmen and women.
All right, at that point, allow us to wrap it up tonight. I hope you're duly informed and updated on the latest events across the country. You've been in safe pair of hands tonight with Laura Omondi on the sign language interpretation. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. We wish you a wonderful night.